Welcome back, everybody. Just like I said before, if you hit the subscribe button and the bell next to the subscribe button, you would get the update once Fetty Wap was sentenced. Well, he did go before the judge yesterday, and he was sentenced. You might have seen it on some headlines that said he was sentenced to 6 years in prison for drug trafficking. Okay, but the details behind his sentence is more what we're going to talk about. Yes, it says that Fetty Wap was sentenced to 6 years in prison for drug trafficking. I'll be direct. I went straight to the justice.gov site. This is a government website that carries the exact information straight from the courtroom to you, and it is available by public information. Willie Jr. Maxwell II, also known as Fetty Wap, was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for drug trafficking conspiracy. The defendant was a member of an organization that distributed more than 100 kilograms of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack cocaine across Long Island and New Jersey. Listen, first of all, right, we're not talking about small amounts of dope. We're not talking about little baggies. We're not talking about nickel and diming $5, $10 bags here. We're talking about multi-million-dollar organization. We're talking about 100 kilograms of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, and crack. That's serious. There are people in prison right now that got caught with like 10 kilos, and they're literally doing more time than someone who committed murder. So this could have turned out very, very badly for Fetty Wap. It didn't turn out that bad after all, right? The prosecutors wanted to give him 10 years. His lawyers wanted the minimum, which was 5 years, because this particular charge carries a mandatory minimum. A mandatory minimum basically means that that is what is written into law on the paper, and the judge cannot go below that. So if you are caught in this crime right here, the least amount of time you could get in prison is 5 years. Well, he ended up getting 6. Earlier today in federal court, according to the justice.gov, the government website says, earlier today in federal court in Central Islip, United States District Judge Joanna Seibert sentenced William Jr. Maxwell II, who is the rap artist known as Fetty Wap, to 6 years imprisonment and 5 years of post-release supervision for conspiracy to distribute cocaine. On March 7th of 2023, Judge Seibert sentenced Maxwell's co-defendants, which is Fetty Wap's co-defendant. For those of you who don't know about the prison system or the court system, your co-defendant is somebody that you got caught with doing the same crime and you're on trial for the same thing. Okay, the same judge, also sentenced Maxwell's co-defendant, Anthony Sinjay, a New Jersey corrections officer who was caught up in the mix on the other side of the law. He got sentenced to 72 months imprisonment for his role in the drug trafficking conspiracy. Fetty Wap's remaining 4 co-defendants also pleaded guilty and are awaiting their sentencing. Everybody pled guilty. Nobody snitched on anybody. They all said, F it, I'm taking this. I take full responsibility. It is what it is. And I'm about to go face this like a man. Nobody said, well, John did it and it wasn't me. I was just riding in a car. I just used to travel out west with them. You know, the funny thing is, in Fetty Wap's situation, because he is the real money maker, he is the star in the organization. Somebody could have said, listen, I'm going to take the fall. And when I take the fall, you just go ahead and hold my family down. You stay free. You continue to do your big shows, get your money, release your records. 6-10 years from now, you might have another 2-3 hits under his belt, which generates another $50-100 million into his bank account, where he's still able to take care of the people around him and all that. And he won't lose his fame. He won't lose his spotlight in the industry and all that. So you go ahead and do that, and I'll take the fall for this. And when I get home, put some money on my books, make sure my family's okay. But in Fetty Wap's case, his case was so airtight sealed. The feds had everybody in on it. They had details to where it was basically, listen, cop out, say what it is, or we take you to court and we hit you with the full. And everybody said, listen, I'm guilty. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been doing this. I got caught up. Right? So, Breon Peace, United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Michael J. Driscoll, Assistant Director in Charge, Federal Bureau of Investigation, that's the FBI, my friend, New York Field Office, FBI, Raymond A. Tierney, District Attorney for Suffolk County, and Rodney K. Harrison, Commissioner, Suffolk County Police Department, SCPD, announced the sentence. Now, according to the court filings, from approximately June of 2019 through June of 2020, Fetty Wap and his peoples distributed more than 100 kilograms of cocaine in that 1 year alone. Distributed more than 100 kilograms of cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, crack cocaine across Long Island and New Jersey. The defendants obtained the narcotics on the West Coast, and they used the United States Postal Service and the drivers with hidden vehicle compartments to transport the controlled substance across the country to Suffolk County, where they were stored. The drugs were then distributed to smaller level dealers in the area who sold them on Long Island and in New Jersey. So, in other words, they were the plug for this side of the movement. They had to go out west to get it in bulk from a bigger plug. And then they would take it back out here. And then they would break it down. And then the smaller dealers out here would have them as a connect, where they would come get it from them and then flip it on the streets over here. This is according to the feds paperwork, right? 5 of the defendants also used firearms to protect their drug organization and distribution chain. In other words, it was some violence involved. People were getting shot at. People were shooting back. Defendants Anthony Leonardi, Robert Leonardi, Brian Sullivan, Kevon Wiggins, they all participated in the purchase and the transportation of the narcotics from coast to coast, from West Coast over to the East Coast, where they were processed, they were stored, and then they were ultimately resold. The Fed said they would take the drugs, they would get it in a purer form from out west. They would bring it over. They would step on it. Step on it means to stretch it. A little bit of baking soda, a little bit of this, that, and the other. Whatever they add to it to make it more, to double or triple the profits, and then they would resell it. They were in on their organization. There's also information that what the feds did half of the time was they would actually watch their drop points, and they would track the package, and they would watch who went to go pick the package up, and they would follow the whole process. And so they had the kind of proof that the feds had on him and his organization was nothing that he could go to court and walk away from. Maxwell, which is Fetty Wap, he was described in court as a kilogram level distributor for the trafficking organization. That means he dealt cocaine on a kilo level. It's kilos. We're not doing ounces. We're not breaking it down in small baggies. We're doing keys. This is how he was described in court by the prosecution, and that was his role in the distribution trafficking organization. And Sinjay, which is his other co-defendant, Sinjay transported kilograms of cocaine from Long Island to New Jersey. So Sinjay wasn't in it for the California to Long Island part. they caught him being the plug from Long Island to New Jersey. He would wait till Fetty Wap and the rest of his guys brought it in from California. Then he would go get it from them in Long Island and take it back to New Jersey. And then smaller dealers would come to him in New Jersey for it. Search warrants were executed during the investigation. The feds had had enough. They got all they needed to have an airtight, tight, sealed case. So they said, come on, let's go on in. Let's get these guys up out of there. So the search warrants were executed during the investigation. This search warrant resulted in the recovery. This is where they were caught red-handed. They were caught with approximately $1.5 million in cash, cold hard money, 16 kilograms of cocaine right in their possession, 2 kilograms of heroin, numerous fentanyl pills, 2 9mm handguns registered to nobody, a rifle registered to nobody, a .45 caliber pistol registered to nobody, and a .40 caliber pistol registered to nobody with sorted amount of ammunition for all the weapons. The government's case is being handled by the Office Long Island Criminal Division. Assisted United States Attorneys Christopher C. Caffarone and Andrew P. Wenzel, and Special Assistant United States Attorney Jacob T. Kubetz are in charge of the prosecution with the assistance of paralegal specialist Samantha Schroeder. Damn, it is what it is. Now, like I said before, you're talking about $1.5 million in cash, 16 kilograms of cocaine in your possession. Plus, they have proof that you already transported over 100 kilograms already just to tighten up the case on you. And then they find you with all this in your possession. There's people behind bars that's doing time for stuff like this, that's doing more time than murderers are doing time. So yeah, 6 years behind bars for Fetty Wap. That's pretty light, right? The defendants, Anthony Sinjay, which went down with Fetty Wap, is listed as someone from Passaic, New Jersey. He was 25 years old. Anthony Leonardi, he was 49 years old. He was from Coram, Long Island. Robert Leonardi, which obviously is related, he was 28 years old. He was from Levittown, Pennsylvania. Willie Jr. Maxwell II, also known as Fetty Wap, he was 31 years old. He is listed as being from Paterson, New Jersey. Brian Sullivan, he was 27, listed as being from Lake Grove, Long Island. And Kavon L. Wiggins, also known as KV. KV was 28 years old, and he was also from Coram, Long Island. There you have it. Now, here's the thing. At the end of the day, the video I put out, I said pray for Fetty Wap because the judge could have said 10 years. Any day in prison is a bad day. I don't give a damn how you want to split it, okay? So some people are going to say, well, he didn't get 10, but he got 6, and 6 is like close to 10. Man, listen, if you are given a choice to do 6 or 10, and that's the only two choices you have, because remember, he didn't have a choice. At this point, the mandatory minimum was 5. The judge only added 1 year to that mandatory minimum. The judge could have maxed him out. The judge could have said, listen, you are an entertainer. You make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and you were using your legal money from the entertainment industry to fund a drug trafficking organization on the outside. Therefore, I sentence you to the full max. His co-defendant was a person of the law. You're talking about a corrections officer. That was an active correction officer. That correction officer, they could have looked at him and said, you wear a uniform. You are trusted to uphold the law inside of the institution where criminals are supposed to be housed and rehabilitated. And here you are on the outside taking part in a major drug trafficking organization, over 100 kilos distributed. 1.2 or 1.5 million in cash in your persons with 16 kilograms of cocaine in your possession, you're getting at least 10. And they didn't. They came away with 6. The question of the day, though, is this. Who the hell was giving them 100 kilos out west? That's the real question. Who the hell was giving them 100 kilograms of cocaine from out west? Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain. The feds want to know who is the major plug. Who has so much cocaine that they can give you 100 kilograms of cocaine for you to take from the West Coast over to the East Coast for distribution? If they have 100 to give you, then they might have thousands and thousands of kilos of cocaine. And that is the big bust that we're looking for. Did they tell on anybody? We don't know. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one, and I'll catch you on the next video. I'm out. Peace.